back. Happy Friday to you. Well, we're asking the question this morning, can you still be friends with an ex? It's one of the most common things people say following a breakup. So can you, really? These days, social media can make things even more difficult, with couples staying connected online even though they're no longer dating. So for today's agenda, I'm joined by Nine Honey's Shelley Horton and relationship expert Dr. Nikki Goldstein. Good morning. Welcome to you both. Hey, Shelley, I guess generally, an ex is someone who you've spent a considerable amount of time with. You obviously had something in interest to draw you together in the first place. Should you then just drop them and let it go? Can you? Is it possible?
Hell yes, you should not be friends with your ex. Simply,
in any
circumstances. Basically, once you've done the horizontal folk dance, you can't then shimmy back into the friend zone.
Why not?
You can't. It's impossible. There's always going to be someone who liked the other person a bit more, or there's just too many emotions involved.
Hang on a second. That's a big blanket statement for every relationship. What about if you've both gone on to find happy partners elsewhere?
You've got to be respectful to the new partner as well. So I think there's so much psychology in this, and you've got to remember, you can have rose-coloured glasses. When I was going through one of my many breakups, so I'm not talking about just one ex, we're talking many exes here, I actually saw a therapist and he said, you know what, keep a diary while you're having your breakup, so that when you start to waver and go, oh, maybe I do want to be friends with them again, you just read that diary and remember why you broke up in the first place.
So, Nikki, does this then depend on whether you're the person jilted or whether you're the person who's executed the breakup?
No, I think you both need to stay away from each other, because there's no chance of moving on. Because if you're friends with that person and say you're hanging out and you're getting the emotional needs met, you know, you've got someone to call and go, hey, remember that friend that was really terrible to me? Well, this happened. You're getting needs met that stop you from going out to the dating world. So even if you're the person that has chosen to break up with that person, you think, oh, I'd love to just check in, I'd love to have my friend back. Is that going to then start serving you that purpose where instead of sitting on the couch and going, oh, I'm really lonely, woe is me, okay, I'm going to get back on Tinder and get in the dating world, it may actually stop you from having the motivation to do that.
But hang on, what if the breakup was amicable and, as I say, you've both gone on to find other partners and everyone's happy? Why can't a friendship...
Well, you also have to think about the new partners. So, you know, women often get put in the really crappy position where you start dating a guy, he's got this great, friend who his ex, and then you're expected to be nice and be friendly, even though it kind of kills you inside, because you think, hang on, I want to be the priority. And I feel like it is respectful to new relationships to say, okay, yeah, I can be friendly with my ex, wish them Merry Christmas, wish them Happy Birthday, but hanging out with them all of the time can really start to impact a future relationship.
But I'm not suggesting hanging out all the time, but if you move in similar circles, and that often is the case, can you not maintain some semblance of an adult relationship? And by adult, I mean mature.
Yeah. Like Dr. Nikki said, you can be friendly, not friends. My sort of test would be, if your ex tells you about a hot date he went on and your stomach flips, then that's a sign that you should not be friends with them.
Well, that's nasty because he's putting the knife in.
Well, but if you're friends with someone, you want to know about their romantic life. You want to know about all of them. There are 7 billion people in this planet, so just find another friend. It's not that hard.
You're very determined and decided on this,
aren't you? Very black and white on this.
We asked you on Facebook for your thoughts on this topic, and this one comes from Adele. She says, yes, it is possible to be friends with an ex. I live with my ex-husband.
Whoa.
We're best friends. He's done so much for me, helped me get back on my feet, helped me get a job. I couldn't have done it without his support. Anthony says, stay friends with an ex? I married mine. And Helen writes, I've been friends with my ex for years and now my younger sister is marrying him. So he's about to become my brother-in-law. Nikki, can that ever work?
Listen, I always think there's an exception to the rule with everything, but let's just say that this is an exception to the rule. You know, we will have these circumstances where exes can be friends, but I think if you are choosing to be friends or you're going to marry someone else as close to your ex, blanket rule is stay away.
Not recommended.
No, I mean, there'll always be that exception. There'll always be that person that, you've got to break the rules for. But blanket rule, let's just keep our lives separate. Friendly, not friends.
Shelley, you keep nodding as if you've got more anecdotes to share with us.
It's just honestly things like social media have made it so hard these days to really separate yourself from people. I'm all for not just unfriending on Facebook, but blocking. Because you don't want them to know what you're doing and you don't want to know what they're doing. I made the mistake of, I call it an ego search. When you're checking out an ex, you're doing the compare and despair, like, is his new girlfriend prettier and thinner than me? Is he having more fun? And I'm like, yeah, seriously, they're not, you've got to remember social media is a highlights reel, so they're not going to be putting up photos of them crying into Ben & Jerry's. They're going to have all the fun stuff.
Funny
but
that.
I actually searched my ex-husband and he had changed his profile picture to bottles of beer that had the label ex-wife bitter. So, but I think a fair call, man, because I get to slag him on national television.
Wow.
So, you know, it's all fine.
How good's Ben and Jerry's, by the
How
way?
good is Ben & Jerry's? That's better than therapy for relationships.
So, what you would say is walk away from social media. Like, there's
Block,
absolutely nothing to be
delete,
gained.
Delete their friends as well, because I've also had some of my exes have their friends have tried to add me on social media. I'm like, that is just stalking. That is trying to find out what I'm doing.
How many exes
there
do
are
you
many.
have?
There are many, Georgie. There's a whole lot of loving going on here. So, but also, I'm very, very loyal. And so I had, as soon as one of my friends breaks up, I then block their ex on social media as well. Then she got back with him. And I couldn't then send a friend request because then he'd know that I'd blocked him.
Oh, awkward.
Luckily, they broke up again, so it was okay. But yeah, I'm pretty black and white on this.
It's a quagmire, isn't it? The whole social media thing just makes it all the more complicated.
I think you need to have the conversation first. Like, I don't necessarily believe in the blocking, but the defriending. So I remember with an ex, I actually said, you know, I think it's probably time that we defriend each other from Facebook. And the argument was, do you change your relationship status to single or do you just remove it? Because I thought, I don't want everybody then saying, oh, we know that you've broken up. That was kind of the end of the friendship. We had an argument over that. But I feel like you should at least have that conversation, because if you do bump into them in the street and you want to be friendly, you know, you don't want to start the argument if there isn't a place. So if someone's defriended you or blocked you, you go, oh, what did I do wrong? And it starts to become a breakup that's a lot more turbulent than it necessarily has to be.
If you run into an ex on the street, cross the street.
I'm exhausted. My head is spinning with all these rules and regulations. Back in my day, it was a lot more simple.
When they wrote letters.
When we wrote letters.
And you could burn them or throw them away.
Or when we rang on a landline.
Yeah, and there was call waiting.
All of that. That's how old I am. I don't know that we've answered the... Well,
we have.
You have.
Georgie, we have.
All
You're
right.
not sure
not
about
friends.
this. We are very sure.
We've done.
Friendly, not friends. Well, she says friendly. I'm like, not so friendly.
Girls, thank you. Enlightening stuff. There you go, Carl. Friendly, but not friends.
There was a lot of stuff going on in that segment, and for us humble fellas, it was very difficult to follow. But can I add this? Did I miss something? Shelley, you look like you've been on a beach in Greece for 2 weeks.
I have, in fact, you know, and I did holiday with friends, but not friends with benefits. Just so you know.
And everyone was friendly.
Everyone was very friendly. No exes there.
There's a lot of exes.
Yeah.
She's a great chick.
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?